Welcome Beyond Our Focus. I'm Stefan, this is Amanda, and this is Breaking Prisms for January 22nd, where we go over the Twilight Zone and Black Mirror. Today is Black Mirror, the day I've been waiting for. The day I've been talking about, I think, since we did the start of the podcast.
Pretty much. You're like, I can't wait till this episode. I'm like, you got a ways to go, and now the ways is here.
Now we're here. Yeah. San Junipero. Is it creepy? San Junipero? Maybe. Yes. I've been waiting for this episode. I want to throw out there just because I know it's in every episode, but we'll be spoiling the episode. It's something we should have thrown up like every episode.
I know, but we always forget.
We don't think about it. We dive in and yeah. So, yeah, massive spoilers for the episode. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, I would much prefer you watch it first and then come back.
This is definitely one of those ones that you should watch the actual episode before watching us talk about the episode.
Yes. So we're going to go in depth about it. There's going to be a lot of discussions about it. It's going to be a long one. I guarantee it. There's no way it can't be. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I have more notes than there were minutes in the episode. So we're going to be going through it. It was a great episode. My favorite episode of Black Mirror, but there's some other really good ones. So, where do we want to start off? I mean, I guess
it pretty much just pans down into the scene. Just you hear the music and
we're in, or were we about to go?
What do you mean?
We're looking at Tucker's nightclub.
Yeah, like it literally starts out in the sky and then zooms or pans down and you see the theater in the Lost Boys picture. You see the poster for the Lost Boys.
Didn't see that.
The fuck? Yes.
I'm not a Lost Boys person. I've seen it one time, wasn't impressed, and I moved on.
This has been my last episode on this podcast.
Just saying.
I can no longer associate with this heathen. Anyways, yes, there's the Lost Boys poster. Of course, the song kicks in, and you see a vehicle just kind of come in. So you start out outside the club.
So outside. Do you see Yorkie first? I believe you see Yorkie first. Don't we pan behind Yorkie?
The first
or do
thing
we
that
see
happens
Kelly?
I think you see Kelly first. I thought her and Wes are fighting first, and then they go in, and then you kind of see Kelly. But no, Kelly sees them argue and go in. Yeah,
she sees them. So I think we see her, and we see the vehicle pull up, but she's kind of in the shot. And then you see Wes going after Kelly, who's the other one a lot to do with him.
Yeah, she's pretty much like, hey, well, okay, so he's like, hey, we've only got this much time left, or we don't have much time left. Mm-hmm. We should, spend it together. And she's like, do I have to red light you? Which they never really explained.
They don't explain that. That also doesn't get brought up until they get in the club, but...
No?
Pretty sure. I mean, the second time we see the vehicle pull up and there's Wes.
Maybe. All I know is that he mentions time left, and then I'm pretty sure because she says, she says, do I need to red light you? And then they're like laughing and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I forgot what she says, but then that's when she goes actually into the club, and he follows her in, and she's, Yorkie's watching the entire thing, and that's when she decides to kind of...
I remember red light being brought up right then. But
yeah, I
know it gets brought up in the club, and then it gets brought up again later on.
No. I have it right there. So.
Well, maybe it did. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, we go into the fancy nightclub.
So pretty much what you have to picture is like the entire scene so far is complete 80s.
Oh yeah, we're in the 80s. We're in the 80s. If we're very specific, we're in 1987.
Yes. Everyone, of course, is dressed all, for the scenes, everything like that. And then you have Yorkie, who we'll be following most of the time.
Yes, this is Yorkie's story.
Yes. And she's kind of just in like a striped t-shirt kind of thing. She has these big glasses.
I mean, she fits the part, but she's very
reserved compared to...
and plain compared to not someone you would expect to see in the nightclub.
Yes. So she's kind of just meandering through, and she kind of head towards the back where there's like this little cubby-ish area that has arcade games.
Yep. Good old arcade games. She starts playing one, which I wrote down the name of.
Bubble something?
Bubble, it's up here. No wonder I went too far down. Arcade, Bubble, this thing cut off like part of my notes on one side. But it's Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble. What a weird name for a game. I assume some of the games that had in there exist. I don't know if all of them did for sure.
Most of them did. I don't know what Bubble... Maybe it did, but
I don't know. I mean, I know we see Pac-Man at some point. And
yeah, we see Pac-Man, Space Invaders. We see... There's two major ones, but...
Yeah, so we definitely get some stuff. I don't know if Bubble Bobble was ever a real game or not, but she did play Bubble Bobble.
Yes.
And gets approached by some nerdy-ish guy?
Yeah, they never really explained him either. He's
He's
at
the club. I mean, he's a girl. She's playing arcade game. Let's interact. It's at the club.
And it has more endings if you play with two players.
He tried to get himself in there. He tried. And then she died. And it was like, no.
No. And then, well, they turn and he's like, so do you want to play this game? I forgot what the game was called. I don't know if he wrote it down.
And I did not. It was some dumb-looking racing game.
It's a racing game, pretty much. And she kind of watches it for a minute with interest. And then it crashes. And she kind of just has this moment of like, oh, no. I'm going to go. And she's like, I'm going to get my bearings. And then...
Yes, and walks off.
Which, to me, I was like, did she have a violent past? Did she get into a car crash? I actually wrote that down. Yeah.
Sweet Lord!
Well, it's one of those things that when something like that happens to you, and then you, like when you get traumatized by something, you don't want anything to do with it.
You take away a lot more than I do. No. Much more observant than me.
So, yeah, she just kind of gets this weird off look and feeling and kind of blows him off and walks away and kind of sits by herself drinking a Coke.
Yeah. Until good old Kelly, out of the blue, sits next to her and like, hey, just go along with it.
Yeah. To which you see Wes walk up and he's like, hey, we don't have much time left.
Yeah, he's like, she goes like, do I have to red light you? He's like, we only have 2 hours and 35.
Yeah.
And it's like, what does that mean? What do
they keep bringing up the time? Like,
the time is so odd.
And that's actually where you learn everybody's names. Because I think you hear Wes's name.
Yeah, Wes and her, you get their names. You don't get Kelly's till I think they get at the bar. Not Kelly's,
no,
I mean Yorkies.
Yorkies? No, I thought that was right there when they were just sitting there.
They were at the bar, I thought.
No, I thought they were still sitting at the bench, and she's like,
maybe they are.
I'm Kelly,
know.
And she's like, what's your name? She's like, I'm Yorkie, the dog.
Like the dog.
And then they mentioned something about the quagmire.
Oh, yeah, because she blows good old Wes
yes.
off. Blows old Wes off saying, he's like, but we had such a great time last week. And she's like, last week was last week.
Yes.
I'm here. I'm trying to visit my friend. She's only got 6 months to live. 5, actually.
Wes kind of just shuts up at that point, and he's like, okay. And then he's like, I'm sorry to hear that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, and then we're introductions. I'm Kelly. I'm Yorkie. Like the dog. She met him at the quagmire. He's like, what's the quagmire?
So if you don't know, you don't want.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to know what it is. And I believe that.
I believe that too.
If you like this club, you don't want nothing to do with the quagmire.
So she's pretty much like, hey, looks like you need a refill. Let's go get some drinks. And Yorkie kind of just stays in place. And she's like, do I have to pull on your leash? Like, come on. So they walk up to the bar and, of course, Kelly proceeds to get to them rum and cokes, or Jack and Cokes.
Yes, Jack and Cokes from Blondie there. And she's like, it would just be a Coke. Jack and Coke times 2.
Yeah. So you can already tell that it's not just a look to Yorkie. She's
she's
very reserved.
Very reserved. She's me at the club. I'm not going to drink a Jack and Coke.
No.
I'm going to dress like you see me right now to go to the club. This is my club.
That's your clubbing outfit.
That's the clubbing outfit. This is what you're getting.
Animals.
This is what you're getting.
Okay.
I've never been to a club because I don't do the club scene.
I've been to bars and I've been to bigger bars where they've had bands, but I've never been to a club.
I've been to bars and I don't drink, but I have never been to. I don't think I've ever been to like a big bar. So
I just used to go watch local bands all the time. But so then they start speaking about appearances.
Yes. Yorkie's very plain dressed self.
Yes. So, well, what happens is Kelly's kind of looking at her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm regarding you."
Yes, I feel like I'm being analyzed.
Yes.
Yeah, you kind of are.
I was like, I was wondering about the glasses, and it's like, why did you choose them? Like, why did you choose the glasses? And it's like, you don't need them, do you?
No.
It's like, I used to wear them when I was younger, so it's more of a comfort item. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, I knew it.
So I've heard that from other people. Wearing glasses they don't need, just because it's a thing.
Yeah.
Some people kind of hide behind them.
My sister, I think, before she really wanted, or she had fake glasses at one point. She had like cat eye glasses that had just plain lenses. She just liked cat eye glasses. So
yeah, it's a look. It's a thing. Yeah. Some people just like glasses in general. That's just kind of a. So which everybody who actually has to wear them are like, why?
It's all fun and games till you can't take them off.
Exactly.
But no, so she pretty much is like, okay, like I get that. It's really you. You can actually make them work. It's like this look I can tell is actually you compared to all these people out here. It's like they look how they think they should look.
They look like they think they should look like something they saw out of a movie.
And you're just all these little bits of information. You're like, why is this so weird? Like, why is this like they chose avatars at this point and are just changing their clothes? So, I believe that's when they go on to talking about... She asks her, are you a tourist?
Yes. Yep. Do you live here? No. You're a tourist?
We'll
First
go
time?
Tourist, yeah. First night. And then that's pretty much proceeds to, the song comes on and it's...
We should dance.
Yeah.
I don't dance. Well, yeah, and she drags her out to the floor.
And, of course, she starts dancing, and she's trying to dance with her. Like, here, do what I do. And she tries for a bit, but she starts noticing people looking.
Yes. Well, either people were actually looking or she was imagining that people were looking.
It seemed like a paranoia thing.
Yes, yes. She doesn't like the idea of people looking.
Yes.
To which she proceeds to just fade away.
Yeah, she literally just kind of takes her couple of steps away, starts to turn while Kelly's even looking at her, but then Kelly turns her back and starts dancing more, and she's just gone.
She's gone.
So she goes out into the rain, and it's like, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm. Kelly follows.
Yes.
Once she realized she disappeared.
So we find out it's a Saturday night. Yeah, because it's like she said something about like this is what we do on Saturday nights. It's a fun thing. And she's like, everybody was looking. Everybody was watching.
Two girls dancing.
It's like, people aren't as uptight as they used to be.
Mm-hmm. I've never been on a dance floor.
And according to her family, she can't do anything.
Yeah, very harsh. She never talks very positively about her family.
Not at all.
Her family doesn't like her, doesn't appreciate her, doesn't think she can do anything, doesn't want her to think that she can possibly have fun. Yeah. Just on. And her family not good to her.
No.
Not at all.
And then Kelly's pretty much like, they say they have until midnight. So there's a time limit again.
Yes.
There's that time
Midnight's
limit.
2 hours away.
Yes.
And then at the exact time, Kelly rubs her leg.
Yes. It's like, we have time. We can just, have fun. And she's pretty much just like, do you want to go to bed with me?
Well, at some point here, or right after the leg, Yorkie confesses very quickly that she's engaged.
Yes, she's engaged. She has a fiancé. His name is Greg. Nice Greg.
Yes, nice Greg. She speaks of him very oddly.
Yes.
Very oddly.
She's almost talking to her about Greg as though it's an arranged marriage. Like,
it's weird. And then it's like, is he here? No. And then yes, she just comes out. You want to go to bed with me? Like, okay.
It's like, I can't do this.
We could be back to my place like this. Yep. To which she's like, I have to go, and proceeds to give her a good old handshake. Like, alrighty.
It was really nice meeting you. Awkward handshake of the night, and then she kind of walks off, gets to the end of the road, stops,
kind of changes her mind or kind of thinks about it, and then looks back, and Kelly is gone.
Yeah, that just did not have a chance. There's no second chances right there. There was another moment. Oh yeah, because she had said, I have to go, and Kelly said, in this? Because it was pouring out. And she's like, yeah, I gotta go. And then 1 week later.
Yep, 1 week later. And we open up to her switching out cassette tapes.
Yes.
And changing clothes.
Yeah, she kind of looks in the mirror at herself and decides to go with something different. So she puts in, of course, like the Breakfast Club main song. I can't remember what it's called. Forget About Me. Don't forget to.
Don't you?
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Forget about me.
But, and of course she has, a kind of look that kind of matches that. So she changes. She's like, I can't do this. And so puts another cassette tape, has a different look on, kind of somewhere between reserved and ready to go, hip hop dancing. And then was like, no.
She does this, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, she comes out with this like sleek little purple dress and is like, yeah, no. And then finally has like the slick back hair, kind of more of a masculine look, and she almost feels like she's comfortable in it. Like she's like, I think I got this one. And then it's, no.
That was the scariest one of all of them. But
I don't know. It's the one that she looked like she felt most comfortable in, and then finally decided no, and then just went back to her plain old Jane kind of stuff.
Well, slightly, it looked like an updated version of that. Of her plain Jane look. But
so I really loved the track list during that entire just song after song was amazing. This entire episode is great music.
Yeah, they have really good music the whole episode.
So once again, red lighting is brought up because we get back to...
we see Kelly pulling back up to the thing. Once again, Wes is bothering her.
Yeah.
And then she brings up, do I have to red light you? To which it goes into, well, he just wants to be with her. And she's like, well, there's thousands of girls here. Hundreds, thousands of girls here in San Junipero.
And he goes, locals, you mean the dead people? And I'm
like, who? The locals? They're like dead people.
Yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? What? So, she pretty much just calls it off. Tells him, go. It was just... There's nothing between us. It was just sex.
Yeah. I don't want some boring romance. Not like being in a retirement home. Yeah, and then she proceeds to really try to shove him off, and that it was just sex.
Yeah.
Get over it, Wes.
So she disappears once again, and we have Yorkie. Yorkie goes back into the club, I believe. she's looking for Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
But she pretty much, she kind of sees Kelly, and well, we see Kelly at the bar first, and a guy approaches her and is like, "Hey," she's like, "Hi," and he's like, "You waiting for somebody?" She's like, "Not really." So he's like, "I'll buy you a drink." So
she doesn't seem into him at all until she realizes Yorkie is there.
Yes. Yorkie is kind of watching from the stairs, like right after the stairs, and they kind of make eye contact, and suddenly she's like, "Do you want to dance?" And like grabs the guy, and they go to the dance floor, and they're just having a grand old time.
And Yorkie just pretty much stalks her all night. Yeah. Pretty much.
Just kind of sits down, watches them have their drink, and sitting down, and just talking, and she's pretty much just like, "I gotta use the bathroom." He's like, "Okay."
Yep, gotta use the bathroom.
Which is weird. Sorry, I just remembered that he was talking, I don't know why, but he was sitting there talking to her about some corrective knee surgery.
He was weirdo. I mean, she was only even hanging around him because...
I know, but it was just a weird topic. So, she goes to the restroom, and of course, Yorkie follows her.
Yes, Yorkie follows her so they can have a conversation in the bathroom. To which Yorkie comes up and says, "Can you just make this easy on me?"
Yes. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
So, you want to get in my car? Let's just go for it.
So they leave, have a grand old kind of little road trip. Asks Kelly how long she's been here. She says a couple months, so she's pretty much a tourist as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they go back to Kelly's place.
Yes, they go back to Kelly's place,
which is a really nice beach house.
Yes, nice little beach house. Awesome possum.
Yorkie says, she's like, "Wow, this is huge," and she's like, "It reminds me of." Did she say it reminds me of where I grew up? Or something I grew up, or was it?
I think, it was Kelly or Yorkie that said that.
Yeah, I can't remember who said it, but...
Yes, it reminds me of where I grew up. To which she says something about her mother or something in the picture, to which is just, and that's it. That's the end right there. Because Kelly kisses her, and then they go into doing what you do when you go back to the house.
Somebody's house after a club.
Exactly.
Of course you have all the experience in that, I mean.
Of course.
You and your clubbing days.
All my clubbing days.
So, they pretty much, do their thing, and then they're laying down next to each other, and you find out that was Yorkie. Yorkie's like, "I've never been with anybody."
Yes. It's my first time, period.
Yeah. Because I think she asked, "Is that your first time with a woman?" And she's like, "That was my first time with a woman with anybody." Like, so she's like, you deflowered me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She mentioned this is for her first time in a relationship ever as well.
Yes. And that's when we find out that Kelly was married.
Yes, Kelly was married.
Because Yorkie wanted to know, how did she know? How did she know that she liked women?
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly had mentioned that she always knew because she had crushes on friends and coworkers and everything like that, but she was married.
Yes. Well, she also said she liked both.
Yes.
It wasn't just women.
Equal rights.
Equal rights for everybody. She did not mind.
Yes.
But yes, she was married for a long time. And he chose not to stick around.
He wasn't even passing through. So I think that was pretty. They were looked at the time. I think it was 11:58 or something like that.
Yes, it's very, very late. She said, "I'm just passing through, and before I go, I just want to have a good time."
Yes, and so she's like, "Oh, it's 11:50 or it's almost midnight." And she's like, "Well, then why don't we just lay here?"
Yep, and then cut again. 1 week later,
and there is no Kelly.
Yeah, Yorkie is goes to the Tuckers looking for Kelly, and there's no Kelly to be seen.
Nope.
To which she asks the guy at the bar, and the bar's like, have you checked Quagmire's?
Yes.
There's Quagmire's again.
She'll go, what is Quagmire's? And then proceed to a desert area with a giant, scary-looking building and
with
these
bikers,
driving past. So you have this reserved little Yorkie that's just dressed in her little shorts and her striped t-shirt and her big glasses, going up to this big, punkish...
This is a like goth sex biker club.
Yeah,
biker
much.
Bar club thing.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just if you want to think witchcraft, and this is what you think right here.
What?
Witchcraft and devilry, all right here. That's what this looks like.
But it pretty much
people in black latex everywhere.
It pretty much looked
girl
like
with horns.
An underground. It pretty much looked like an underground punk biker bar with dominatrix running around.
Yeah, there you go. Sure. Like I said. They were sacrificing a goat in the back. It would not be surprising, okay?
I don't know where you got witchcraft from, but that was funny.
With tons of moaning noises going all throughout the club.
So she's looking around, and she gets to it, like, she keeps going and keeps going. People are, like, trying to touch at her, and she's like, nope. So she gets to a certain point, and she just sees two guys fighting each other, like, beating the living daylights, and she's like, I can't do this. So once again, I was like, does she have something towards violence? So she, like, spun around and just walked directly out, and of course, people are, like, grabbing at her, and I'm like, dude, no. And
she's trying to leave, and she runs into Wes,
who's looking pretty rough compared to, his sharp-looking, slick-back.
Well, I mean, you gotta look a certain way if you're gonna be at the Quagmire.
He looked like he had been dumped, which he was, but he was on the rebound. But yes, he pretty much was just like, oh, so you too, huh?
Mm-hmm. You too.
Just looking at her, he could tell she was certain.
To which we get one reveal.
Yes.
You should try the other times.
Yeah, I was like, try a different what? And he's like, 80s, 90s, one time I saw her in the 2000s.
Well, 2002,
yeah.
Specifically. And then it cuts.
1 week. And we're now in 1980 with Pac-Man and Space Invaders.
Which we don't stick around very long.
No.
We're just, she's not here. And then we cut 1 week later. And we're in the 90s.
1996. Once again, doesn't really stay for long. Just
nope.
kind of breezes through.
Goes to the beach house for a moment.
Yeah.
And then we're gone again. And then we're 1 week later. And we're in what I assume 2002.
Yes, I believe it says so because I wrote it down.
I just assumed 2002 because he said 2002 earlier. And I knew we made it somewhere to 2000. So
I want to say it came up on the TV because it was like a music video.
It's very possible.
But she goes to Tucker's, and there's Kelly and the guy that she's always running into playing DDR.
Yep.
So she just sits there and watches them play for a minute, and then when they win, Kelly turns around and is like, what are you doing here? Love the change of music, by the way.
It's like, this isn't your scene. And then, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because we got to have a conversation in the bathroom. It's the only place to have a conversation.
So she follows her quickly to the bathroom, and she tries to do the same thing that she did with Wes. Like,
yes.
It was nothing.
It was nothing. It's like, you hid from me.
Yeah.
1, I didn't hide from you. 2, I don't owe you nothing.
Yeah.
3, prefer 2.
See point 2. And I think that was when she.
Yeah, that's when she went to the bathroom. But
and then that's when she followed her, and it was like, what are you trying to say? Pretty much, like, it's like, say you didn't feel anything, you don't feel bad. It's like,
you should feel bad.
Yeah.
Should feel something.
Yes. And then she walks out, and Kelly proceeds to punch the mirror.
Yes, which was interesting when we start getting some more weirdness.
Yes, because there's nothing wrong with her hand, and when she looks up, the glass is completely healed, and you're like, what the fuck's going on here? So then Kelly proceeds to go outside and try to look for Yorkie.
Yeah, she changes her mind. She's like, let me go see what's going on.
So she's looking around. She asks a couple that are standing outside, have you seen this girl? Short brown hair, glasses. And they kind of look up. And you're like, oh God. So there's Yorkie sitting on top of a building.
Yep, just hanging out on the roof there.
So Kelly proceeds to climb the fire escape in high heels.
To what she said at the top of it, tell me you have your pain slider set to 0.
Which is another weird thing. You're like, okay.
I mean, over and over, there's like these weird vibes. Something's going on, for sure.
And so they kind of sit down next to each other, and she's like, how many of them do you think or how many of them are dead? And she's like, you mean the timers? He's like, yeah, how many of them are dead?
And what percentage do you think are dead? It's like 80, 85%?
I'm like, okay, so earlier on, the locals are dead people. Now they're talking about how many people you think are dead. I'm like, dude, this must be the afterlife or something like that. Some weird afterlife. And she pretty much, Yorkie just wants to know what's going on. And Kelly's like, I don't know how much time there is left.
I don't do feelings. She's not trying to do feelings. She's not trying to hook up.
Yes.
She's trying to hook up, but not hook up. But I wasn't prepared for you.
Yes.
To which they end up back at her house again.
Yes. And she was like, what did you mean by... Wait, no, I think that was later. Well, no, I think that was that point where she's like, what do you mean you don't know how long there is? So she wants to know what Kelly meant.
Yeah, well, first we find out that she's getting married next week to Greg. And she knows her family doesn't approve. And she knows that he only pities her.
Yes, which pisses her off.
Yes. Then we go to why.
She's like, so she asks again, what do you mean you don't know how long there is? And she's like, I have 3 months. It's spread, and they told me I had 3 months 6 months ago, so I don't know what's going on anymore. And then she's not staying.
So good old Kelly's not doing well at all.
No.
So you'll stay here after? No. Why not? Richard died 2 years ago.
Yes.
And chose not to come.
Yeah, he did not even choose to do a trial run.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much, I don't know, I forgot how they got onto the topic of reality. So that's really when it hits home that this isn't real.
Yeah, apparently this is not real in some manner.
And there's trial runs, there's demos, so it's like, she's like, if you really met me, you wouldn't like me. Mm-hmm. That was Yorkie. Yorkie was like, if we met in person, you wouldn't want me, you wouldn't want to talk to me, you wouldn't like me.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to hang around me.
Yes. So Kelly pushes it. She's like, I want to know where you are. And she's like, well, where are you from? She's like, Carson City.
Carson City, Nevada.
She's like, well, I showed you mine. Now you show me yours.
Where are you from?
Santa Rosa, California.
Like, that's not far at all.
Because she said, oh, we probably aren't even close to each other.
Where are you at? Houston?
Yeah. So, she's like, I don't think you want to meet me. And she's like, I'm scared. And then Kelly's like, well, I'm dying, so let's just meet.
So we can totally do this.
So it cuts, and we don't have a 1 week later this time.
Nope.
We open up to a sign that says Sienna Trust. I can't remember what it said underneath it, but I just read Sienna Trust. And we open up on an older woman.
Yes, a much older woman.
Yes. And
Brings her down the stairs. She gets in the vehicle.
nice little futuristic vehicle.
Yeah, nice little future vehicle.
Yeah.
To which, I mean, at this point, you have to assume this is Kelly.
Yeah.
This is good old Kelly.
Yes. And the person with her has to be her caretaker, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to what is you can tell is a hospital. There's people walking around in lab coats and stuff. And a guy walks up to her and is like, "Are you Kelly?" Ta-da, we have our answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which you have to assume
of
here,
course.
no matter what.
Random person just thrown in there. No. And then she's like, "Oh, she's been waiting for you."
Mm-hmm. We get up to the doctor's office. He starts ringing. He's like, "Well, she can't respond in any way, but she can hear you."
Yeah. So it opens up to a room. There's an elderly woman laying in bed, catatonic, pretty much.
Yeah. We find out briefly soon that she's paraplegic. Quadriplegic. One of these pelegic things.
Pelegics. But yes, because at first I put Yorkies in a coma, and then I was like catatonic, and then finally they said quadriplegic.
Vegetative state. Like, she's not doing well.
So she sits down with her, first she kind of leans over and she's like, "There you are, dummy," or "There you are, stupid," and kisses her forehead, and finally is like, I don't know if they could just cut to her out in the hallway or if
she's walking out. We don't know why 100% what's going on exactly, but a guy comes up and is like, "Are you Kelly? I'm Greg."
Yes. So we find out that obviously she's not, it's not the marriage that she quite talked about.
No, not quite. This is a much younger guy.
Yes.
And it's like, "Oh, it's good of you to visit her before she passes over."
Yes. She's passing over. Well, why don't we get some coffee?
Yeah, maybe we should get some coffee and talk about this.
So he says that he's been with her for 3 years and that she talks to him on the comm box.
Yeah, they don't really explain what that is, but apparently there is some way to communicate.
Well, I assume since they already have the little sensor thingy, that there's got to be some way for them to communicate.
Yeah, but then he also said there's no way for her to respond, like they couldn't talk to her in any way. It's something, I don't know.
But anyway, so they kind of sat down and he explains to her what happened.
Yes. That she came out to her parents.
At 21 years old.
21. Good old 21. And they are super religious.
Yes.
So, of course, they hated it and blah, blah, blah.
There's huge fallout. And Yorkie did not take it well. She got into her vehicle and just sped off.
And there was a car accident.
Yes.
And that's what caused her state.
Yes. So she has been quadriplegic since she was 21 years old. It explains why she's never kissed anybody, never slept with anybody. Just besides obviously the character or the persona that she had inside the simulation, you could tell she was reserved anyways. Mm-hmm. And then having all of it end at 21, obviously it's still going to carry on.
She's just... Yeah, that's gonna suck.
Yeah. And apparently they have a 5-hour weekly limit, and it's rationed.
Yes, it is rationed. It's weird. It's not like an hour a night or anything. It is a 5-hour weekly limit, which everyone spends at one time. So it's on Saturday night, 5 hours. That's all you get.
Yes.
And that's why we've kept jumping from week to week to week.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's just weird that it's rationed.
Well, they explained the reason they can't do it. The trial period cannot be anymore because people will go crazy, or people want to be in that world because it's too good. It's perfect.
Yeah. And so pretty much it's like if you're still alive, if you still have life, you don't want to they don't want people wasting it away in there.
Yes. It is meant as an afterlife a thing.
Yes, she said it is immersive. It's pretty much immersive therapy.
So
For the elderly.
So she asked good old Greg if he could. That's weird. Oh, I think that's that. I don't know. But yeah, ask Greg if he could just hook him up for just a moment so she could talk to her.
Yeah, just 5, just anything, any little bit of time.
Which he's very hesitant about it.
Like, you don't understand. They're really strict on us right now. And it's like, just a little bit of time.
Which, of course, he doesn't.
Oh, yeah. You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
And so she, that's also when you find out that, okay, so before all that, before she asks, she's like, so what about the marriage? And he says, the reason why is because in order for her to be euthanized, in order for her to just be shut down, to pass over on her, is they have to have a parental signature on it because she cannot say it to them herself.
Well, it's not even that, I think. Is that one person cannot say that they personally want to also... They have to get permission from that person, and they have to get permission from other people.
Yes.
As well. So it prevents people from just saying, you know what, I don't like my life, I'm going to San Junipero forever.
Yes. And so, pretty much, he said that because of her condition and because of how long she's been in it and because her parents are super religious, they don't believe in San Junipero, they don't believe in this entire system anyways, not to mention they also want nothing to do with their lesbian or bisexual daughter, they won't sign it. No. So he's like, technically, if she gets married,
the husband can sign it and she can...
Yes. So he agreed to marry her. He figured, what's the harm? It's the least he could do for her.
Yes.
So then that's when she was like, hey, can you hook us up?
To which he does, to which they meet.
Yes.
And like, oh, I've never seen this place here in a day. To which Kelly immediately, they ain't got time for nothing.
Yes. She's like, I gotta ask you a really just like weird question. Like, I'm gonna just do something really weird. To which she proposes.
It's like, someone's going to marry you. It's got to be me.
Like, would you rather marry a random guy or would you rather marry someone who really loves you?
So, we cut right back out and they're getting married. They're doing the little thing and right after there.
She immediately signs the little waiver thing. And she gets euthanized and Yorkie pretty much appears in San Junipero, but it's different. Everything feels stronger to her. Everything feels real to her because it now technically is. Mm-hmm. It's not a trial period anymore. She lives there. She is part of the system now.
Yes. And then we go back to Kelly going back to her retirement home. And then immediately hooking up for that evening, or pretty much, or whatever, to see Yorkie.
Yes.
To which she appears in her Jeep in a wedding dress.
It's just like, you didn't dress up for me, because Yorkie appears in her normal clothes, and then, whoop, and then suddenly she's in... So they go driving and have a nice little joy ride and everything like that, and then they stop at the beach, and... Yorkie's like, everything just feels so real. Like, it's like, that's San Junipero. It's always like this. It's like, no, it's different now. I live here. And she's like, come be with me. Live here with me. Yeah.
Good old Kelly. That's not really what Kelly wants.
No, she's like, no, I told you. I'm just passing through.
Passing through. I can't.
Yes. Well, why not? You married me, didn't you? Like, you want to be with me, right?
Well, it was a kind gesture. It was a gesture to help.
Yes. And so she's like, I don't understand. And
is it Richard?
Yeah. He chose to leave you. He left you. He had a choice to either come here or move on, and he moved on without you.
Ooh, and that pisses Kelly off.
Yes,
We find out quite a few things at that point. One, they were married for 49 years.
Yes. They had a daughter named Allison who died at 39.
Yes. They experienced everything. They sacrificed everything.
Yes. And so when Richard died, he wanted to be with Allison because Allison died before San Junipero existed. Mm-hmm. So there was no way for her ever to even be uploaded to it or experience it.
If she couldn't do it, he didn't want to either.
Yes.
And she's like, well, I don't even think that's what happened. I don't think, if I die, I don't think I'll be with them. Because I don't think there's anywhere to be.
Yes. She's like, I want to believe that they're together now, but I don't. Mm. I don't, but I believe there's nothing.
Yes.
And yet still I want that. And then she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And she's like, because you didn't ask, you didn't want to know, you didn't care to ask. And she's like, please, I'm sorry. And she's like, nope, I just pity you. That's the only reason why I married you, is I was pitying you. Yeah.
To which she leaves in her fancy Jeep.
Yes.
And then intentionally crashes it into a barrier, to which you see her go through the front window and flip over.
Yes.
To which, I mean, she's not really hurt.
No, she just rolls in the sand.
This is a fake place.
She's breathing, just like she wakes up, looks up, and there is Yorkie with her hands out. Like, yes. It's okay.
She goes to grab them, and it's 12 o'clock.
Yep. So she disappears, and of course Yorkie can't disappear anymore. So
nope, because Yorkie lives there.
So she's just in space, just staring at the sand. To which we go back to the retirement home.
Yep. To which we get several scenes of just her.
Yep, just Kelly.
Kind of living in her retirement home.
Or
dying in her retirement home.
Yeah, you can tell her condition's getting worse and worse. And then finally she's kind of just sitting outside where the wind can just blow through her hair, and her caretaker is sitting right next to her, and she's just like looking around and just talks to herself.
So something along the lines is, I think I'm ready.
Yes, she's like, I think I'm ready. And she's like, for what? And she said something about the city first, and I couldn't understand what she said, and I didn't have subtitles or anything. But then she's like, what? And she's like, I think I'm ready. And she's like, for what? And then she's like, everything else. To
which we kind of, it shows some tubes and some things, and then we see a coffin and a grave. And
so she was buried alongside her husband and her daughter.
Of course she was.
Yes. So then we cut to Yorkie just combing along the beach and getting into her car and driving off to what looks like to be Kelly's place.
Well, we go into the credits. It's the second episode that there's actually scenes in the credits.
Inside the credits, yeah.
So it keeps cutting back and forth, and you keep seeing Yorkie getting the vehicle and driving, and then...
So what they did for maybe, a split second is kind of try to give you the vibe that Kelly went along with her plan. Because you see the coffin and everything, and then you just see Yorkie by herself getting into her car and driving off.
Yes.
And then we have more cutscenes.
Well, yeah, she drives off, and then it cuts to black real quick for a second, and you see the credits, and I'm like, I don't remember anything like this. I forgot they went into the credit, and then it pops up another scene, and then we move forward, and it's like, okay, here we go.
So she pulls up at Kelly's house, and of course, young little Kelly comes out, and she's like all smiling and happy, and hops into the vehicle, and then they drive off into the sunset pretty much.
Yes. And then the final scene we see is a big building that says TCKR Systems.
Yes.
which I say Tucker Systems.
At first, I thought it was Ticker, like Ticker.
And I say Tucker because it was the name of the club they were in that has the same logo and everything else. It could be whatever. It doesn't matter. It's TCKR Systems is what it is.
But anyway, so it has this little machine arm that's putting these little dials that have circles and lights and everything else, kind of similar to the ones that were on their heads, into these ports. And there's just walls and walls.
There's probably billions of them there.
So you're like, oh, so that's where everyone's at.
There's San Junipero right there.
Meanwhile, right, just like in the beginning, Heaven is a Place on Earth was playing, and it is playing through the credits as well.
Yes.
So it kind of gives you like a hint, hint, wink, wink kind of thing. Like, it's a nod to the entire theme of the episode.
Heaven is a Place on Earth.
Yeah.
What a cool episode.
Yes. Another song that they put in there that I forgot when it was. I think it was when she was first trying on clothes. But there's a song called Girlfriend in a Coma by the Smiths. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, that's... Why is all of these songs kind of... Like, why does that one just stick out? And then it's like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Just a cool story.
Yes.
And it's another reason I think the fourth season went a little more in that route. Because most of our episodes, very dark.
Yeah.
They're not really very happy. They very rarely end on a happy note. If this episode would have actually cut literally where it originally cut the credits, you could have thought whatever you wanted to think.
Yeah.
And it could have still kind of been that dark ending that Black Mirror was known for. It's like, no, they actually didn't end up together. She died, and she got left in San Junipero. That's kind of what it was. And that would have felt more Black Mirror. But the credits give it a little extra, oh, they were together. Oh, things did go well. That's great. That's fantastic. Because the fourth season, there's more happy notes than there are sad notes.
Yeah.
There's another really cool episode.
We got to this one. Stick with this one.
We're almost done with this one. We got 2 more episodes, and then we'll be in the 5th season. But there are more happy notes in the 5th or the 4th season than there were. So it makes me feel like because San Junipero is a super popular episode.
Yes,
it is a lot of people's favorite. So I think Black Mirror, Netflix, whoever saw that, and it kind of leaned that way, which is kind of disappointing. I mean, yes, happy notes are great, but the show is known to be not pandering and not giving you that happy ending you want. But to get to one every now and then, it's like, okay, cool, finally someone got something decent. They went right.
They got what they deserved in a positive light compared to they got what they deserved.
Exactly. But what a just cool episode overall.
It was, overall, just the feel of it, the vibe. Of course, it's the nostalgia, but
a little nostalgia there between the 80s and 90s.
But just all of it, everything. The acting was spectacular throughout from everybody. It didn't matter if it was just a little side cast character or anything. Just everybody was amazing. Acting
great, music fantastic.
Oh, yes. Just the scenes, everything that they put out, and just the story in general, how it kept you out of the loop for a while.
Yes. I mean, you didn't actually 100% didn't know exactly what was going on until 3/4, maybe like more like 5/5, 4/5 of the episode.
Yeah.
You could guess and make plain what you were going, but until that last conversation and leading into the cut to the real world, you just didn't 100% know exactly what was going on.
No, like for all you know, it could have been a virtual reality video game. For all you know, it could have been some kind of little just anything. But for it actually to be between an afterlife and a little therapeutic thing for elderly people, it was great. And I do like the fact that they got their happy ending.
Yes. It's nice to get a happy ending. It really is.
After some of the last episodes that we watched, I'm like, it was nice for these people to get what they actually wanted and needed from each other. So
yes, very cool episode.
Yes,
very cool characters, awesome acting, great music, looked great. I mean, just a 10 out of 10 episode right there. Because it was great all the way through.
Yes, it was.
What was it? It was like episode 1, Nosedive. Cool episode, but the ending is what made that episode.
Yeah.
It was a good episode all around, but it could get a little annoying towards the beginning with just how fake everything was.
Yes.
But I mean, it was supposed to. But the ending is what really made that episode. What really, perfect ending. Not even a happy ending, but kind of a happy. It's strangely perfect for what that was.
It was just desserts.
So, and that's episode. Oh, I love this episode. It's so good.
So, if for some crazy, insane reason you watched this far but didn't go back and watch it for I don't know why, go back and watch it.
Still go back and watch it.
Yeah, it was.
We don't do it justice.
Yeah, not even close. And it's definitely a good episode. I mean, now, hey, maybe you're one of those people that like spoilers and stuff. So now you can go back and pick up the little nods.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of things I missed. I had to watch it on a little phone through the course of 10 hours. So it's been a while since I saw it the first time, so I didn't get to pick up on some of the subtleties that Amanda did. But it was fan-freaking-tastic. Definitely go watch it.
Yes.
Experience it. This is Black Mirror. They're all one-offs. You're not like you have to catch up on
No,
anything.
you don't have to watch the before one. You don't have to watch the one after. It's just by itself.
Yes, and it was great. Yay. Absolutely fantastic. But, as always, you can reach me at Stars Untraveled, reach Amanda at KZPup, reach the show at Beyond Our Focus.
Yeah, forget what you're saying. Go do it.
On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and podcast services.
Choke and forget what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm having too much fun. Okay, I'm having too much fun. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how you liked the episode. Hope you went and watched it. Leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for anyone who happened to stick around for the last 30 seconds of the video. Because 99.99999% of people click. Oh, they're done? Okay, click.
As soon as you snap at them, they want to leave. Okay?
And they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah,
They're gone just like that. They don't hear none of this blabber unless it's someone who's like, let me just listen to what they have to say.
So why is there 5 extra minutes on this one?
Exactly. Well, because there's some bonus content behind there, okay?
So they were talking about credit scenes. Maybe they have credit scenes.
We always have credit scenes. But anything else you want to say before we end out the episode?
The next episode we will be going over is
Twilight Zone.
Episode
12, I do think.
Yes.
Called...
Something about having something.
Thank you. Something about having something.
What you
need.
What you need. I was like, what you can?
What you need, yeah. I got it before Netflix
And now it's trying to play. Oh, okay. So it's what you need. It's pretty much about a guy who finds out that there's a psychic selling people what they will need for the future and decides to try to
exploit that.
Yes.
And of course that's not going to go well for him.
Yeah. It's the Twilight Zone. When does it go
If this guy is selling things because he knows the future, you won't screw with that?
Yes.
That's a bad idea all around.
Let's mess with someone who knows what's going to happen.
Exactly.
That's fine.
There's no way he'll pick up on it. No way. Yeah. Anyway, till next time, long days and pleasant